Dunigan.
And this is the Late Night Podcast, but not weird like the other Late Night Podcast. But today we went to
It
see
is
two major sadnesses: Wreck-It Ralph and The Man with the Iron Fist.
Yeah.
Two movies we looked really goddamn forward to watching, and walked away from both of them kind of going, well, fuck.
Well, I'll be honest. Man with the Iron Fist. It wasn't a bad movie. It was a good movie. Wreck-It Ralph, though, that was. I'm not gonna lie. I was more looking. I don't feel the most masculine saying this, but the truth is, I was looking more forward to Wreck-It Ralph because I don't think a video game movie like this has ever been made before, and it just seemed to have such promise and hope. But it just fucking once again that mouse just fucking blew his load right in your face and punched you in the face and walked out and took your money. Here's your money, bitch! I knew you'd pay just because Sonic the Hedgehog and Street Fighter characters in it. Fuck you!
No, that's really kind of came across. That movie was the biggest fuck you to video game fans. Because here's the thing: the first 20 minutes was pretty much like the
Good.
trailer. Pretty much what you see in that one trailer that kind of explains, like that one trailer. It's not like a typical movie trailer where it just kind of shows like the AA meeting of like video game bad guys. Like you get a little bit longer version of that, and that part of the movie's really good.
The first 20 minutes, 20, 25 minutes of the movie, I'm not going to lie, it's good. It makes the rest of it that much worse. And it's not good because they're just throwing out video game references left and right. You know, they make a Metal Gear Solid reference. They're just making all these little winks at video game players, and it's not like an obnoxious wink. Look what we have. It actually fits it. There's actually some funny jokes and some funny bits within that first 25 minutes. You're like, this is a good movie. I'm really looking forward to see where this goes. And then he goes to like the
Wait, before we get that, let's just
okay.
keep talking about that part. See, the thing is, it had some great stuff, and I mean things that like a true video game player would appreciate and really go like, that's cool. You know what I mean? It's not just kind of like making fun of video games or anything like that. I mean, they had Street Fighter stuff in it. They had the Metal Gear Solid in it.
Wasn't the Rhino thing from Altered Beast?
If that Rhino thing was from Altered Beast, it doesn't look this that. Wait, I don't think there's a Rhino in Altered Beast.
Isn't the
I can't
final
remember.
bad guy like a purple rhino?
No, wait, no. I can't remember what the bad guy is in Altered Beast. It's been a while.
Okay.
But well, most of the because I know it's like the thing is like it was mostly Midway, Sega, Nintendo, Capcom,
A little bit of Namco.
yeah, Namco, and a couple of these. Like there was like sort of a Metal
They-
Gear Solid like sound effect and stuff.
They only had Bowser and then a mushroom from Mario.
Yeah, so the Mario one was kind of limited. The Sega stuff was pretty big. The Midway stuff was pretty big too, and then
is
and the Capcom stuff was really big.
is
No,
House of
Capcom. I think the Capcom was really just Street Fighter 2.
House of the Dead, is that a Midway?
That's Sega.
Really? I fucking dumbass. Okay. Pretend like that
It's
never
okay,
happened.
We'll just get that out right in the first 5 minutes.
I never really played House of the Dead. I mean,
Missing out. What the fuck?
well, I played it, but I never really
Where
looked
was
that
your
much.
childhood, man?
I played it when I went to arcades, but I never really played it a whole lot, and it was never really a story I looked that deep into. So
Oh. Well, when I was a kid, House of the Dead, it spoke to us, man.
when I think Sega, I think Sonic, Knights, Virtua Fighter, Jet Set Radio.
Well, see, because keep in mind, Sega, it's like, what were they the biggest in?
Arcades.
Arcade.
Yeah, I know.
Because you go to the arcade, and you kind of forget about it. Like, like almost 3/4 of the games there are Sega games.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is.
And they even stopped and they made like a Metal Gear Solid reference.
Uh-huh.
Which there's a part where he's going through a lost and found at the bar tapper play at the bar tapper.
Yeah, they had a root beer tapper, which was awesome.
Yeah,
that's Midway once again.
Yeah, and he's like looking through like the lost and found there. He finds like Zangief Speedo. He finds like a Mario mushroom. He's like what is this? He pulls up and it's like the exclamation mark. There's like from Metal Gear Solid. I'm like, oh, that's awesome. And even when they're at the AA meeting, there's a part where Kano rips the heart out of the zombie, making a straight like reference to Mortal Kombat. So
well, I want to go back to the root beer tapper thing because that was
Mhm.
one of those games I really liked that game a lot.
Mhm.
And it was actually originally supposed to be, it was originally like beer tapper, and they sold it in like in pubs and bars. But then they decided, you know what, we need to make it more kid friendly, or we need to have a way so we can like integrate into like regular kids arcades. Make a root beer tapper.
just put a 4-letter word.
But
in
it's really
front
cool
of
because like it showed like in like pretty much Ralph was at the bar, but he's at the beer tap, or he's at the root beer tapper bar, and he was, talking to the bartender. He's like, "Hold on a second, I gotta go give out some like root beer." And it goes to like an in-game shot, and he's throwing the beers out just like in the game. And I'm like, "That's fucking awesome."
And you see even Ryu in the background going to the bathroom is Ralph sitting at the bar.
Yeah, showed him before too. And he was drinking a root beer and whatnot.
Which we all know Ryu
Root-
doesn't drink root beer, but
Or
whatever.
beer, but that's
But-
okay.
That's fine. It was just, and then like the other thing, like another bit I thought was really good and just really clever was they showed them all at the AA meeting. He says, "Okay, that's the AA meeting. We'll see you guys later." Then it goes to like a shot, like you're looking at a video game screen, and you see they're leaving the Pac-Man maze. There's a little center where all the ghosts go to recharge and they come back out. You see the orange ghost still bouncing back and forth there. See all the others, all like 8-bit and whatnot, heading out. Then Ralph stops and grabs the cherry, then leaves and follows the rest of the maze. It's just, I mean, me describing it doesn't sound that funny, but when you actually see it, which
It's really
don't,
fucking cool.
because the first 25 minutes of this movie are great for video game players, and the jokes in it are actually funny, and you actually kind of like sympathize with Ralph, and you kind of get where he's going. But then because what happens is if you've seen the trailer, you know that he's a guy who just wants to get some recognition.
Pretty much
No-
he's Donkey Kong. That's who he really supposed to
and
be.
Felix is supposed to be Mario.
Yeah, that's technically the characters who they are.
And he's really just trying to get some recognition. I'm not trying to pun the trailer. That's just recognition. And he's he says, all right, well, if I go prove myself in another game and come back with a medal like Felix, people will give me some respect because his video game, everybody's just kind of a fucking prick to him. So he goes off to like this Halo-esque light gun game.
It really reminds me of like that Alien Invasion first-person shooter, or not
Yeah.
first-person shooter, but shooting game at the arcade. That's what it really reminds me of.
Mhm.
If anybody knows what that game is.
I think I know which one you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so he goes to that, and I think they're just trying to throw all the macho like first-person shooters into one.
Yeah, it's kind of
really.
like one. It's like kind of like
Gears
Gears,
of
kind of
War.
like Metroid, kind of like Halo. Everything slapped together in one.
And he goes there, and even that part's fine. That's cool.
No,
It's-
that part was cool. I was still into it at that part.
the action was going. Then he says, all right. Then he accidentally, when he gets the medal, he accidentally falls into an escape pod, and one of the little alien things from that world goes along with them, and he ends in this little like kart racing Sugarland game, that's all right. I knew that was going to be in the movie. He'll probably be here. I just assumed it was going to be like each
I thought it
game.
was gonna be like 5 minutes because that's how much he was in like the alien infested Warzone one was.
Yeah, and I thought it was going to be a movie where he just kept on jumping from world to world to world.
And people are chasing him through it, kind of.
Which
Like
that would
fucking like Inception almost.
Inception. The whole time you just see him running in slow motion. Dum, dum. Yeah, it was all just a dream at the end. No, but
It's just like Mario 2 ending.
yeah. Oh, it's all just a dream. Ralph just go back to sleep. No.
That'd actually be a better ending, actually.
That would have been a fucking better ending. And then, because right now, as I'm talking, like, this all sounds pretty good. This wasn't a bad movie. Then I stopped thinking, oh, wait. Then he gets to the
Then
fucking
there's an
candy
hour
world.
of shit.
An hour, yeah. And by this point, there's no real there's, all right, yeah, you're watching this. Okay, there's a reference to Rainbow Road from Mario Kart 64, whatever, any Mario Kart
Well,
for
then
that
it just
matter.
turns into fucking Candyland. That's what it is. It's supposed
Yeah.
to be like a Mario Kart style game, but
It's Candyland.
like, this is like the fucking insult to video game players ever, because it really turns into like a fucking 5-year-old's movie. And I say 5-year-olds because a fucking 70-year-old would think this is fucking stupid. That's kind of how bad it is. I mean, you get this annoying ass little bitch who won't stop fucking saying the stupidest jokes ever. And now like the movies kind of went from like a fun family feature almost to like, bam, this is totally made for somebody real fucking young. Like it has
Yeah.
lost its adult appeal whatsoever. And now it's really just become like an insult because like you look at this game, you're like, they would not make a fucking video game like this. Even the biggest sellout company, whatever, who was trying to rip off Mario Kart to the max would not make a fucking game like this. And then it's this Candyland thing, as I said, and now they have all these like fucking Oreo references, like Mentos, Diet Coke. I can't remember what the other ones there was. But
There's
there was
Mentos. There's Nesquik.
there was
'cause
Laffy
they-
Taffy and Nesquik, and now it's like, what the fuck is this propaganda bullshit? You know what I mean? There's kids in here, and you're just showing a fucking world full of sweets and candies and actual fucking names of these places.
And that was the thing about the movie. It just suddenly became. I forgot I was watching a movie set in a world with video game characters jumping from world to world and all that. It was strictly became this movie about Candyland. Because what happened, or like Candy Sugar Rush, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah, fuck that Rush.
And then Rush the band is fucking awesome.
Oh yeah,
but
not yeah, not Rush from Canada.
Not
If they were in the
Canadian.
movie, that might have saved it halfway through, but that wasn't.
like
Okay.
Geddy Lee and like Neil Peart and Alex, whatever his name is, just comes in at the last minute. Just
Well,
saves
here's the thing,
fucking-
though. It's right at that point when it's in that like hour-long part of that. Really, all the video game references start to fucking go out the window.
They do.
I mean, there might be one small one every 20 minutes. So like, in total, you get three in like the last hour.
There's actually the one where I thought this was kind of clever, but this is like a very faint thing and like just a pile of bullshit. Um, it was just that there's the part where like the mayor, who's fucking evil and annoying and stupid, and he's supposed to be like Ed Wynn, or no, he's
Ed
like
Wynn.
like the oh my goodness gracious, the guy who voiced he was in the Mad Hatter. The
Oh,
cartoon.
okay.
He's
I was
the
trying
Mad
to.
Hatter.
I was like, I know that guy's voice from a lot of things, but I could not think. He's pretty much one of those Disney voices. That's
He's
in
one of
there.
those. Well, I'm not saying that. I don't think
Like
that.
he's fucking like a Disney union worker, so he has
Yeah.
to be in everything Disney.
I mean, the guy's dead. I'm pretty sure he's dead, but he was like one of those really like.
That's okay. Though.
gay-
He still comes back to life every once in a while to do a voice.
Well, I mean, people always mimic
they
him, and
mimic
that's what
him.
he was supposed to be. He was like that Matt, like he did the voice of Mad Hatter in the '60s Alice in Wonderland, but and probably a bunch of other
But it
shit.
really just comes across as it really nowadays that voice comes across as like a bad gay stereotype almost.
Yeah,
It's
And-
almost like it's gotta be offensive to a lot of people out there.
and what that this is the villain of the movie. I knew he was going to be in the movie because they show him in the trailer. He's the guy like you hit a guy with glasses. That's well played. That guy in the trailer. If it's
That
like I
actually
knew he was
wasn't
gonna,
like that bad of a line. That was probably his most creative line out of the entire thing.
yeah, and then but then you realize this is the villain of the movie. This is the guy that is the real threat because he's just
Against a
fucking
guy who's like Donkey Kong.
Yeah, and it was just like a fucking annoying. Like Ralph didn't really bother me. Ralph
No,
was
well,
fine.
Ralph was fine throughout the entire movie. It just once that was like he was in. He was. It almost comes across like a Marvel movie. He was fine. Just the world around him was kind of shit.
And-
but twice as shitty.
And as the goes on, it's like what happens is so he escapes the science fiction world and goes into the sugar world. He accidentally brings this alien with him, and this alien multiplies and
Rapes the land.
tries to rape and pillage the land. But the thing is, that's almost kind of like you forget about it because what it becomes about is the girl, like through some bullshit, ends up taking his medal that he got from the from the sci-fi world. In order to get it back, she has to like win the race. So he has to befriend her, build a car with her, teach her how to race, so they can win the medal. And then this whole conflict: oh, we're friends, are we not friends? I don't know, yada yada yada. All the shit you usually see in these kind of kids movies.
Yeah.
And then
It was pretty stereotypical by that point. Like, this is shit I've seen 100 times, and this is why I don't go to see kids' movies anymore.
And then they got to the point where it's like, all right, now we need something to bring everything together. We got to give a dilemma. Oh, right, the alien. It just pops back in all of a sudden. There's millions of them, and it was just one of those things. It was like that is so fucking half-assed to me. It was just because, like, I don't know what more to say about it. It was just you had
20 minutes, that was awesome.
yeah,
And then you give us a fucking hour of shit.
mm-hmm.
Pure shit. Not even good filmmaking, not even good movie making. Horrible kids' entertainment. Like, you should, like, nobody should let their kids watch it for that part on, because it's not good.
Yeah, it was just fucking stupid. I feel bad because I told my nephew, I was like, oh, because I went to this movie so sure it was gonna be good. It was almost kind of like, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't realize it was shit for a little while in the movie because I was almost
'Cause
kind of
it's
lying to
blown-
myself.
Well, first you're like, it's gonna get better. It's
Yeah.
like this is just kind of whatever. Somebody didn't know how to write a middle section of a movie. I understand. This happens.
And then there's a part where like we gotta get out of here because all these fucking bug creatures are gonna destroy the world. So they're all leaving. Like, okay, good. Gives them a reason to go. They're gonna start invading other
By
worlds.
this point, I was like, the movie's practically almost over.
I know, but I was like, maybe who knows? Who knows? I mean, but then like all of a sudden like, oh no, we got to go back because the girl played by Sarah Silverman, she's a glitch, so she can't leave the world. So that's the thing. If everyone else can leave their game world and live in this kind of little like power strip, but no one else can. But if you're a glitch, you can't leave.
See, what I really wanted to wonder, this is what I was thinking the whole time. What happens when the old man at the arcade comes by and flips the power switch off while they're all living in there? Or unplugs it from the fucking wall? I'll see this. Secondly, too, like, this is one thing to me. It's like, okay, I know this movie's supposed to be almost like a romanticism of, like, arcades, but, like, where the fuck is this arcade located at? Because generally you don't get an arcade that good unless it's maybe on Santa Cruz Beach Boardwalk, maybe
Yeah.
in Coney Island, New York, they might have one like this, but, like, that arcade looked like it was just located in, like, fucking Modesto or something. We all know towns like that don't have shit.
Yeah, no, I think they're just I think it was like what you said. They're just romanticizing on the
Like,
old
oh,
arcade
no,
thing.
cool. And then they kind of like they almost had like an insulting joke to like adults, sort of. It was kind of funny, but like, Chris at the beginning, he's like, "Oh, come on in, kids, come on in." And there's like this guy who's like this kind of guy looks like he's 40 years old, kind of like he was stuck in like the 70s outfit he was wearing, but now he keeps coming to the arcade. He's like, "Oh, look at you, you big kid, come on in."
Come in, young fella, or whatever.
Or
Yeah.
yeah, young fella.
Which I don't know. That didn't really bother me none, but it was more
No,
of one
well,
of
that
those
didn't really
things.
bother me, but it's
Yeah.
just like
Well, that old guy actually like that's still at the point before the movie turned to bullshit.
Well, no, that was still all good.
And
I'm not complaining
and then
about
there's a
that.
part where he said like what was it? Like, oh, the game's having trouble, just like my old nana. And then later, like just 5 minutes later, kind of like he says, like,
It was like
look,
5 minutes. It was like the 30 seconds later.
he says, looks like we're gonna take her out to the field and take care of her, like my old nana. Like, so,
well, that was still in the good parts of the game.
yeah, making jokes about killing your grandma. So,
But no, it's just like there's literally an hour of shit. I was just sitting there, I was at first I was happy and I was laughing, I was having a great time. I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. And then I sat there for an hour with my arms crossed, not laughing. Just like it was one of those ones like if I was really fucking rich and money wasn't a big deal, I would fucking walk out of that movie. And you know, like the whole time I was sitting there, I was like, fuck, I could walk out right now. Fuck, I could walk out right now. But the whole fact is like, I paid money to get in here. I gotta like.
you know, if we walked out, what would have happened? Oh, that became amazing. Sonic the Hedgehog
Well, yeah,
came in, Mario came in,
there's
started
also
fucking
that.
fighting. Yeah,
There's also
they
that
fucking
part.
like kicked Sarah Silverman's character in the teeth, said "fuck you," kept on. Yeah, that
Well,
would
it's funny because you know what's actually better than that whole hour though is the fucking credits are actually better than that whole hour.
Yeah, they insert all the characters into actual like they insert them into Street Fighter 2, Sonic the Hedgehog,
Like
Pac-Man.
Doom stuff and
Yeah.
whatnot. Too bad there's also there's like some really shitty like that new wave pop or whatever you want to call that crap that like takes no talent to make.
Mm.
They had a couple of songs like that one where like she like was learning how to race, which I didn't
Yeah.
realize that like shut up and like in kid stuff is okay. Because kind of when I was a kid, like
Was
parents
that
were,
what the song was?
well, it was called Shut Up and Drive. And when I was a kid, shut up was actually looked upon as a kind of a bad word.
Yeah, you
It wasn't.
just
I mean, it
can't-
was once like if you're like 8 years old and you said shut up, your parents would be like, whoa, 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 what the fuck?
You watch your fucking mouth, Jimmy.
That's kind of how it was. Like shut up
This is
was
a fucking Christian household.
like it came across as like those words like shut up and whatever and all these 90s words.
Crap.
Yeah, crap. Crap was probably looked upon better than shut up. But here's a movie. I feel like the whole time like, here's a movie, and they got a song in there where the lady's saying, "Shut up and drive." What is this telling our children?
First off, what's that woman doing driving? We all know that's unsafe.
She's 5 fucking years old and high on candy for crying out loud.
Who's ever living that fucking cane with? I'm surprised they're all dead of like diabetes or whatever.
Well, yeah, well, it's like, what's that's another thing too. Like, I'm sorry, but like, we live in the 2000s now. You really shouldn't be advertising this shit to kids. We already got enough fat fucks out there walking around as is, kid-wise. You know what I mean? Apparently, they're complaining day after day of child diabetes. And what do? You make a fucking movie where an hour of it takes place in candy fucking land.
Yeah, this is one of those movies where I kind of was so optimistic that it took me really up until it's probably like the last 20 minutes of the movie. I'm like, no, this movie sucks. Because like, it's going to get better. No. It's just, all right, it's a little bit of a slow point. It's going to get good. It's going to get good. Then I realized that this is the movie. I'm like, fuck. I mean, there was a part within that shithole, there was one little part that I thought was kind of clever. They got oh my goodness, Mayor, that guy. He went into he got into the game's mainframe through an old NES controller. And he did the
Konami code.
Yeah, the Konami code. That was a little clever.
That
But
was a little clever.
But that is like a sprinkle of happiness on a pile of shit.
Yeah, it's still a pile of shit. That happiness doesn't make it smell any different.
I guess what's worse is, if this movie was dog shit from the beginning, it would have been. I guess I would be more accepting of it. But the fact that it starts off just so good, it
Like
starts
the
off with
biggest
so
cock
much.
tease.
It starts off with so much promise because not just are they getting these references, the movie is actually fun. It's actually kind of witty. John C. Reilly's lines aren't so bad. The way he says it, like he said, when he's all talking about like who he is and what he does, he says like, and granted, there's Fix It Felix. He's really good at fixing things, but I guess that you just are when you get a magical hammer that does all the work for you. So just
Yeah, no, there's some good lines. Even though I want to say, I guess this comes from just watching rated R movies every like I don't go to the movie. I very rarely see a PG-13 movie in a theater, let alone see anything underneath that, like a PG or even a G.
Same
And I
here.
think this is the first kids movie I've seen in theaters in like years upon years.
I'm trying to think. Well, I have nephews, so I see him
So
a
yeah,
little
you
bit
see those,
more.
but I don't see them.
I
So
mean,
like,
I don't see him
when
super.
I'm listening to movies, like the way like when a line goes across in my mind, there's like insert swear word here,
Yeah,
and then you hear another, it's like, oh, I guess that word works too.
yeah. I guess. Well, no, they're just saying some things. Like, I don't gotta tell you poop. That's literally
You're
a
like,
line in
oh,
the movie.
then your head's like, all these other words start coming
You
across.
could have just said, I don't gotta tell you Jack. That would have
Yeah,
worked fine too.
but
It's PG. They could have got with crap. Maybe
I
one.
thought it was a PG.
It was PG.
Oh, okay. Well, that
Oh,
makes
one or
sense
two
now
curse
that why there's
words.
some of the other stuff in it. But it doesn't come across as a PG movie. Like later on, it just really comes across as like full on like I don't know, just like it's just like how kiddie it got really made me angry.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing, and
Especially like
I thought that was a fucking insult like no other to the
with Metal
people
Gear
they're trying to
Solid.
sell to.
Metal Gear Solid like references within the movie and like Mortal Kombat
Oh
references
yeah, there's
too.
two fucking Mortal Kombat characters in there. Seriously?
Yeah.
I
So
don't know.
we should want to talk about the trade because we're gonna
What
talk about
about
Man with
that
the Iron Fist.
small little movie beforehand? The little like which do they do that on Disney movies nowadays? Have like the
I
little like
think they do.
pre
I
small
think
animated short thing?
was it called Paper Man or Paper Planes? I don't remember. I'm assuming Paper Planes.
I think it was something paper.
Well, anyway, what they had
But
before,
here's the thing, really quickly back to that though, is like I
yeah,
know because you go to see these kids movies with your nephew.
not ever all the time.
Do they actually still play like the little miniature cartoon beforehand? I know Pixar movies used to do that,
Pixar does that,
but then
but
again,
as
the
far
last
as I
Pixar
know,
movie I remember seeing in theaters was probably Toy Story 2.
I haven't. I don't see them. I mean, I see these movies probably more than you do because I have nephews, but I don't see them like all the time. And this is the first like Disney movie I've seen in a while. This isn't a Pixar movie. This is the first Disney one I've seen. I don't know how long. So that's the first I saw of it. I'll be honest. I know how you feel about it because I didn't really take it as so much as an environmentalist thing,
Well,
but
here's the thing: was what I thought about it. It was pretty much about the story where there was, it was very artsy and
it was
kind of
black and white.
indie. Yeah, black and white. It had cool animation. Don't get me wrong. I like the animation a lot. And it was pretty much the simple story of it was guy going to work, sees girl, wants to bang girl, doesn't know how, goes to work, life's shitty. It's kind of like Office Space. Sees girl across the building or across the street, decides to go chase the girl by throwing paper airplanes at her, and he throws like 1,000 of them out the fucking window. I was really waiting for this motherfucker to get arrested for how much littering this guy was doing.
Well, it's in a cartoon world, so it doesn't bother me that much. But it's one of those
I guess it's
things.
like when I see that shit, it's like, what the fuck? Like this better be like a PSA or something about like anti-littering.
Like it's just a bunch of like fucking like cops gonna be we just riots, just beating the shit out of this guy. Just credits after that.
Yeah, it's like kids don't litter.
I didn't even think anything of that. I'll be honest, I actually liked that whole thing because I liked the music it had. I liked the look. Because what the way it was actually a cell shaded. It was it was like kind of like a black and white noir kind of thing.
Like, it wasn't technically noir. It
Noir,
was
not
black and white. Pretty much what it was doing is it was trying to be like a kind of a more classic. It wasn't noir.
yeah,
It was supposed to be kind of like almost like a 1940s classic, kind of like
yeah,
old-fashioned cartoon time.
yeah. I
But it
know.
came across kind of like it came across to me like when I watch those kind of videos, I see them and I go like, oh, little
Mm.
art school kid video.
Well, I actually thought it was well done for the most part
Well,
because I
it was
like the
well
look of
done.
it. I like because I like. I mean,
I like the animation. I guess just the story of it just kind of seems like those ones like I almost feel like those people are trying to make those videos really like fit into people's like hearts and be like, oh, look at that nice little story right there.
well, I guess to me, it's one of those things. It was a short. There's only so much you can say in a short, and on the same time, you don't see Disney do that very much. You see Disney do the grand, over the top things,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
this was.
it wasn't bad. I don't think it was anything like the Marvel. It
I
feels like a
guess I
story
just
I've
I
seen a
really
thousand
enjoyed.
times.
I guess it's one of those things. Yeah, well, I thought it was kind of clever because what happens is the part we left out is he's standing at the train waiting for this girl. Or not waiting for this girl, waiting just for his train, and one of his papers blows out of his hand and into the girl's face. It has a kiss mark on it by accident, and they just both kind of laugh about it. Then he turns away for a second. She's already on the train. So, and then from there on in, he's like, "Damn it, I missed that girl." And then there's no actual talking in it. And then he sees the girl on the other side of the street, and that's where we pick up. And he's throwing paper planes, trying to get her attention through the window. And I don't know, it didn't bother me. It's one of those things. I think those are one of the few things where that artsy thing comes into play because it's just a short. How much can you tell with like say a 5 minute short like
No, yeah,
that?
you can't tell a whole lot. I guess it's one of those ones. It's
And
not. It's not bad. It's just a story that's been done 100 billion times.
yeah, it's something that's been done a lot, but at the same time, it's something I think was really riding on that animation, and I thought it was cool because it was like a fusion of modern cell animation, modern cell shaded animation, and that very classic. When I said noir, I meant 'cause it was black and white, and it kind of just had that old kind of look to it. It wasn't like it was a cold, steamy night. The night I threw my plane out the window out to nothing
Just
like
throws
that.
a full on fucking plane like an airplane. Those got fucking attention.
I mean, yeah, I guess it's
Take
more.
my people to my Mustang.
I guess I just really like the art style look. I kind of like that old Disney.
No, I like the art style thing. That's the thing is, I thought the art style was really cool. I was
Mhm.
more talking about the story. I just didn't think it was.
And I
saw
like
this
the
one was-
music. I like the music that
It
went
was
along
kind of
with it.
generic. It reminds me like those like it just reminds me like one of those ones like if I saw that kid making that movie or like I'm probably like a grown adult by now. But it's just one of those ones was like, oh, I see what you're trying to do. You're trying to play fake. It's almost like they come across like the same kind of kids in like a class that would try to be kissing ass towards the teacher. Just like, oh, you're not gonna make anything risky or risque and not push the boundaries. You'll just go something that's, well received, easy to do, and people already know, so it's fine. But
It didn't bother me just because I'm not saying that I was blown away by it, but it's one of those things. 5 minutes can't say a whole lot. How many stories are there really in the world? And on top of that, the animation was
no, the
really
animation
good,
was
and
cool
it's
though.
the animate, and I think something like that is relying on the animation. And on top of that, I really like the music that they played throughout that. So, and I just like the tone and the look of it. And I think for something like that, that's where you could get away with more of an artsier thing. And you don't see Disney do that very often. So it's one of those things. I actually probably enjoyed that than. Actually, I really enjoyed the first 25 minutes of Wreck-It Ralph. But beside
Yeah,
that,
the first 20 minutes of Wreck-It Ralph was better than that, but that little animation was actually better than the last hour of Wreck-It Ralph.
yeah. So, but now I guess we'll go on to talk about.
Was there any cool trailers? The trailers were all shit, I thought, for that Wreck-It Ralph, though, just about.
I
Except The
wanna
Hobbit.
talk-
The Hobbit was like the best trailer.
Yeah. I actually want to talk about something just because this is kind of like, oh my god, this is happening. These still exist. They're
There
every
was a
once in a
fucking
while.
90s woe movie coming out, but it's like a CG kids thing.
If you ever listen to the podcast, every once in a while we refer to it as the '90s. Whoa! Now
And
that's
these,
like
and these movies existed through like they were pretty much created in the 80s and
The
they
80s.
were really big in the 90s and they started to dwindle by the early 2000s.
and they're generally those kind of movies like a couple of wild and wacky kids that like extreme skateboarding and end up getting a house or end up going on like a crazy road trip or pull out some kind of crazy scheme and end up inside of a
Became the main
biodome.
guys of Wall Street, something
Yeah.
like that. Like somehow, some way, these kids who would
They're gonna take the town by storm and whoa! Featuring music by Goo Goo Dolls, Oasis, and Hootie and the Blowfish.
they're always those kind of
those
movies.
They always advertise the music on those
Yeah,
movies.
the music's always like half the movie, but there always those music where there's like these guys who would never accomplish shit in real life seem to get like everything they want and more.
And they sometimes, even though they were, a lot of the times, even though they were like teenagers, sometimes they'd be kids, and this is like one of those ones. Because what happens is,
And sadly, the thing about these movies, they're not always like the worst movies. Sometimes they can actually be kind of enjoyable and
sometimes
funny.
they are the worst.
But then
movies.
sometimes they can be the exact worst movie. So
Well, I'm gonna say what
They
I
go
saw.
hand in hand.
I'm gonna say is the narrator from the trailer, right? Like, some kid who's a crazy and wild skateboarder stumbles into his dad's garage and finds a time machine. Next thing you know, he and his sister and their nerdy fucking friend end up in the past, and it's like, whoa, prehistoric time, rated PG.
with dinosaurs.
Yeah,
Well, the funny thing
that's
too is like,
literally the way you describe
this is the
fucking movie.
first trailer I've seen in a long fucking time that actually had like the old like 90s and back narration.
Which
guy.
had so much to the whoa aspect.
No, 'cause
the
it-
movie's
'cause it
actually
really did,
called
like,
Dino Time.
Like the fucking trailer was like a couple of. It really kind of came across like that, like 3 wacky kids stumbled into to like a time machine.
And the parents like, somehow our kids found out about this time machine that we have in our garage. What are we gonna do?
Jim, what were you gonna use that time machine for?
Well, I was actually gonna go back and kill you and fix my life, Denise.
And go back and fuck woolly mammoth.
It's always been my dream to go fuck a woolly mammoth.
Why? Because I mean, really, I'll come back and I'll tell the guys, and none of the guys will be able to top my story.
Oh, dude, I was doing 3 chicks at the same time last night. Yeah, well, I fucked a mammoth. top that.
It was during the Ice Age. Yeah, that's right. Rated PG.
Just have like some. What if you just played the movie just like that trailer totally straight? You know, like couple of wild, wacky kids go back in time and skateboard with dinosaurs. Rated R. Just like have that same
You're like,
trailer,
what?
just rated R at the end. You would have to see
You'd
it.
almost have to see it just because the movie was rated R for some fucking reason.
Yeah, just totally advertise it as a children's film and just have rated R on there. You have to know. You have to see it.
Well, then there was like that. There was like that Despicable Me 2, and I didn't see that movie, but like those characters in it. This comes from like probably. This almost sounds makes you feel really old when you say this, but it's like you can't understand what the fuck those things are saying. That's horrible. It's teaching our kids gibberish, and they're not going to be pronouncing things right.
That's the point. I never seen the original.
I never saw. I know a lot of people like. They're like, oh, it's cutesy and cool, but science like one's like, no, it's fucking retarded and it makes children stupid.
So you're talking about the little minion things that are yellow because he's like a mad. I never seen the movie. I've seen parts of it, but he's a mad genius.
I saw that trailer and that tells me all I need to know.
He's a mad genius who wants to like conquer the world or whatever, and he has those little yellow things are his henchmen.
Yeah, that's about all we need to go into that. I don't think you need to tell anymore.
That's all I know about it.
But yeah, those trailers weren't very good for that. I don't think really.
Well,
The Hobbit was the only good trailer.
Hobbit, yeah, and there's aside from that, there's just a bunch of kids films, I believe.
Yeah, I guess that's what made me angry. Go to see a goddamn PG movie, and I gotta put up with this shit from G movies.
See like a trailer for The Collection or something like that.
But then we come to, I guess this would be technically our fluff piece. The Man with the Iron Fist. And this movie was one of those movies. Okay, this movie wasn't bad. It was good. It was just one of those movies I was expecting to be like amazing.
Same here.
Because here's the thing: it's like if Quentin Tarantino produced it, that means he probably liked it. You know what I mean? I'm assuming that he thought it was good. I mean, you know what I mean? And with Eli Roth backed up by like writing, I'm like, well, there we go. They're you know, I know RZA's never really made a movie before, but here we go. We got Eli Roth to help him out. That sounds sweet. And then you see the actors, and you're like, okay, cool. We got Russell Crowe, we got Lucy Liu, we got RZA, we got fucking Batista, which I was really excited about that, and then a handful of other guys.
Mm-hmm.
Who else was in that? Well, I think that's the main big guys.
Yeah.
But and then it's like when was the fucking last time you saw a martial arts movie really in the theater? It was sold pretty big.
Last one I can think of was the Secret Kingdom or whatever. The Jackie Chan. Forbidden Kingdom. Yeah.
It's like fucking 5 years ago.
That was 2008.
But I mean, there's probably got to be something else between them. But it's like those movies.
If you want to count Karate Kid.
Oh, that doesn't count.
Yeah.
That's already like a blasphemy in itself.
Yeah. So I think there's martial arts films have come out since then, but I think just
but
big
they're
ones,
all straight to DVD.
Yeah.
I notice nowadays, or they're. I mean, even like all the young backs, you gotta like go. You have to buy them on DVD when they come out. You don't get them in theaters.
You get like a limited release on Ong Bak.
Yeah, well, I mean, like the limited release doesn't really count. To me, it's like, that plays. Yeah, just because it plays in a handful of theaters, that doesn't mean. If it doesn't play at like most theaters, it's kind of like Still, that's what I mean. It's like, yeah, kung fu movies. It feels like they're kind of like out of style at the moment.
Well, here I got 2 words for you that help this movie: ninja hookers.
Yeah, that's kind of what it is. And it's funny because the movie's really sold off on that sex and violence. But there's no
ninja hookers in the movie are pretty awesome. They're not in it for very long as ninja hookers, at least. The hookers are in it a lot, but ninja hookers are not in it very long.
So that's pretty cool. It's got some there's a lot of cool things I like about it. Like I like the clans. I like how the clans are all based off like animals and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I like how like whatever animal they're based off, they kind of look like that animal. Like the lion guys all have their hair all teased up and they got wild beards and things. And so they all look fucking like lions, actually.
The wolf guys are pretty out of it pretty fucking quickly.
Yeah, the wolf guys were out of it really quickly, but they all wore like, like wolves like skins on them and stuff. And like lots of stuff was really cool.
Which seems to be the fucking purpose. Like, we're a strong, proud race. Let's go fucking skin these animals over here and wear their skin.
And then get like all hammered up and dance around a fire and then get murdered.
Yeah.
And then our part's over.
Well, here's the thing with this movie. It's not a bad movie. It's good. I was just, like you said, I was expecting more of it. It's called The Man with the Iron Fist, but really it's 3 stories going on at one. The only thing that makes The Man with Iron Fist in it more important than...
Because he's the director.
He's the director, the star, and he also narrates the story. If he didn't narrate the story, it could have been called something else, and it would be all 3 of these 3 different stories. Russell Crowe, who is apparently for a while we just think, oh, he's just some British cowboy that wandered into town looking to be on vacation. and then there's the real leader of the Lion Clan. Because what happens is there's this village out in the jungle out in China,
They call
and
it the jungle. Which it sounds really weird. Like I don't know if this comes across as like so might sound weird, but like everything's kind of named like jungle. Like it almost reminds you like well the vibe is an African vibe,
mm-hmm,
but it takes place like in China. Like I don't know if that, but that did you know that because like the place they're
yeah,
in is called the jungle, and
yeah,
most of them there's like wolves and stuff, but most I don't know if there's wolves in Africa. I don't think so,
yeah,
but if there was at some point in time, somebody probably killed them off just like any other place in the world.
probably, yeah,
But because like most of the animals were all kind of like because there's like hyenas, lions, and all that shit, and that was all. It just might be kind of like Africa, you know.
yeah. Well, I just consider like I'm going to the jungle village. I'm going to the jungle store. It's kind of like I'm going to. It's kind of like like I'm going to space. If the movie's a science fiction movie, I'm going to Space Village. I'm going to the space store. Kind of like that. But anyway,
Yeah.
whatever. Minor complaint, not a big deal. But so what happens is there's this Lion Clan, and the two there's Gold Lion, who's the leader, and there's Silver and Bronze, who are the two seconds in command, and they end up setting up a coup, killing the leader, and the leader agreed to escort a shipment of gold to the governor of this area. And he goes against his word, ends up deciding to keep it. So the governor gets all pissed off. He's like, "I'm gonna burn down that whole fucking village!" And then everybody decides to go in and move after this gold. So while the governor is planning to destroy this whole town, the Lion Clan is just running amok, and everyone's just going after this fucking gold. And the leader, the real son, the real heir to the Lion Clan, wants to reestablish himself.
So he's traveling back from like his hometown to go fix this problem.
Mm-hmm.
Because this movie is really just it's like that's pretty much it's three stories
And then
that interconnect, but they technically all have their own conclusions that are so like actually different from each other, and they all have their own villains and everything. It's kind of interesting like that.
and then RZA, who plays the man with the iron fist, he's just the blacksmith who's just kind of minding his own business, and he just makes weapons for whoever comes in. He doesn't want to make weapons, but he's planning to leave with his hooker, who is Jamie Chung or Jamie Chang, something like that. She's a chick that played Chi Chi and in Dragon Ball Evolution, and she was also the wife in Hangover 2. So, I would like to forget about Dragon Ball Evolution, but I just fuck. Anyway. But anyway, this movie's way better than Dragon Ball Evolution. Let me say that much.
And then pretty much like Batista's pretty much the bad guy for RZA.
And he's kind of like he reminded me of the stone monster from Ninja Scroll.
Yeah, he's kind of like that. Well, the cool thing about this movie though is it really does have that kind of feel like a live action anime,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's got kind of like, but it's got like it's sort of its own unique vibe.
Music was pretty good, isn't it?
The music's pretty good. Like everything but the Kanye West song was all pretty good in my opinion. Just because Kanye West is just a bad example of somebody who doesn't know how to fucking sing. Like,
Yeah.
show me a fucking song where he's actually singing on without a goddamn fucking machine going over him, and maybe I can believe he's a good artist. But till that day, when you use a cheater device, you're just a cheater. That's all there is to say. Other than that, though, the music was pretty cool. I like it because it kind of had like, you know, so strange enough, it's like funny how sometimes rap, like if you said like a long time ago, like putting rap in like kung fu and some of this other stuff, you'd be like, no fucking way, that wouldn't fit whatsoever. But it actually fits really well, and we've learned this over the years.
Mm-hmm. Plus, I'm a big Black Keys fan, and Black Keys have a song in the flick, and that was a pretty good. Yeah, John Frusciante had a song, and they were pretty good. So it was kind of like a little bit of that like kind of like that hard rock blues, like aside
mixed
from
with
hip
like
hop.
rap.
Yeah. So and that was pretty good. The movie, really, it's kind of the plot's very simple. I mean, well, it sounds complicated the way we describe it,
But it's actually really simple. It's I guess it's almost one of the stories that doesn't have too much. You know what's really the best part of that movie though, or at least the best part I thought was pretty much RZA or the Man with the Iron Fist was like origin story.
that part was pretty cool.
I thought that was the part that sucked me in the most out of any of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Because at first he starts out he's like a slave that pretty much
And from America.
yeah, a slave from America who gets free and he accidentally kills somebody, so he has to run away and he escapes on this ship, and the ship mysteriously like sinks and he lands on China and then becomes a monk, and then
Then he becomes a blacksmith.
Well,
he was already a blacksmith, in America.
He was a slave.
Yeah.
He goes. How does he go from being a monk to becoming a blacksmith?
Well, I think they're just like
get the fuck out of here.
You know all you need to know. Good luck, or something like that. I don't remember what it was. It was something like that. Maybe there's something I'm just still like fucking befuddled by whatchamacallit,
Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. Because
well, somehow somewhere he becomes that blacksmith or whatever.
because that was just such a fucking letdown. But this movie, it was a little bit of a letdown, but it was still overall enjoyable. It was still
Well,
overall
here's like
good.
probably if I had my biggest complaint of the movie actually though is the fact that like since it is a kung fu movie, there technically isn't a lot of martial arts kung fu in it. And I think this comes from somebody who's watched a lot of martial arts movies because pretty much I always say in this movie a lot of the I guess the fights are like 1, 2, 3, 4 over. You
Yeah.
know, 4 hits and it's over. You know,
Mm-hmm.
in a regular martial arts movie, I mean, you could watch like two guys fighting for a 10-minute period. And they'll be going all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and you'll be like blown away by these like stunts and everything. And this one, it's kind of like it comes across a little bit more simpler. Just
Well, simpler in some ways, over the top in other ways. I
well, yeah,
noticed.
it's over the top sometimes. In other words, that makes it. And what I mean by simple is it means it's like the fight itself isn't that complicated.
Yeah.
And then they use a lot of gore in it. Well, they use gore. I actually expect a little bit more gore in it, but
Mm-hmm.
when there is gore, it is cool.
They really advertise the sex and the gore, and the gore in it. There's a decent amount, not like loads, but a decent. And the sex though, there was like no nudity for being a movie that
It
like
was like sold on sex almost.
there's a lot of sexuality in it, but there's like no nudity, which I'm not going to dock it points for that. But
No, but just
but,
for the fact that when you sell a movie as that, it's just kind of surprising.
mm-hmm. And the other thing about the film is, there is what was I going to say about all that? Oh, like the action in it. Like not that the action's lame or anything, but I guess my own personal preference is I like those those your standard martial arts. You see where it'll be like a shot that holds on them for a good like maybe 10 seconds of them like blocking punches and deflecting and all that and spinning around and jumping. You don't have that. There are always a lot of quick cuts
Well, the thing
that
is about
intersect
martial
from
arts is
other.
I like the ones where they're like really long shots, where they're way longer than like 10 seconds. I
Well,
mean, you can
even
also take like one of the best like long shots in the entire world is in like The Protector, where it's like fucking over
yeah,
10 minutes of one fucking shot.
yeah.
I
But
mean,
I
I'm
think
not
standard
expecting
length.
like that because that's like masterpiece
Mhm.
work right there.
Oh yeah. Well, like for instance, I'm talking more in the sense of like I wasn't being
I'm thinking more,
exact here, but like I see what you're saying.
but like kind of like Bruce Lee, because
Bruce
his
Lee.
stuff's long. Because the kind of cool thing about his is like the whole point of a martial arts movie is sometimes you want to see
Mm-hmm.
like these guys actually do, because whenever there's stunts in movies, you want to almost be like, okay, I see it, that's a stunt. Because whenever you see cuts, it's always like, well, that anybody can cut around things to make it all look cool.
Well, what they'll do a lot of times in this movie, because I understand, like, all right, they'll have like maybe like 10 to 20 second, like just not in this movie, but most like modern martial art movies this day and age. They'll show them punching and like blocking for a little while, and then from another angle, like for whatever reason, like they're they'll just get from another angle like more action going on. Maybe they show what some other guys in the other corner do and come back to that. It's usually 10 20 minute cuts, maybe if they're not 20-minute cuts, 10 20-second cuts, and then maybe like a quick cut of someone just got stabbed or someone like slides a knife out of their sleeve or
Well,
something along
yeah.
those lines, or someone gets like chopped in the neck. Now this movie, the cuts are really quick. Like someone will get punched and it like, edits to a different angle of them getting thrown across the room, then like a close shot of their face, someone's running at them, vice versa, back and forth like that, very quick. And it's kind of like, I get that, but I'd like to see a little bit more because the action was a little bit fuddled, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's one of those ones. It's RZA's first movie, so I mean, like you can't
Yeah.
expect like fucking gold out of somebody's first movie. I mean, sometimes people can pull that off.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I really think about that movie. It's his first movie. This is kind of what it is. If there was a Man with the Iron Fist 2, I bet you that movie would be fucking amazing though.
I'd see Man with the Iron Fist too,
Because
and
here's
I
the thing,
want to
though,
see
it
more from
mostly
RZA.
takes one movie to fucking really get it down pat.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel. Is like I bet you RZA now he knows everything how to do it right, and he can take a look at it and be like, okay, let's do the pros and cons of this movie and what can we make better. And I think you could actually make a really awesome movie off of it. And this movie, it's good, but it's just one of those ones. If you've seen a lot of martial arts movies, it just doesn't blow your mind like you kind of almost wish it would.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm not trying to talk shit on this movie. I like this movie.
No, I enjoyed this movie.
I really enjoyed it.
See, this one movie's like I could watch it again.
I could watch it again too. And not only would I look forward to see Man with the Iron Fist 2, I look forward to see another RZA movie.
Yeah, it's like it's good enough that I'd like to see what he does next. I think it's a good first start.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it may not be like the most amazing movie,
Yeah.
but it was cool. That was the thing. What it was, it was good.
Yeah.
I guess just I think it was just almost like more the hype that kind of got you, and you
Well-
just kind of like kung fu, Quentin Tarantino backing it, Eli
Yeah.
Roth writing it, and RZA doing it because he did
Afro Samurai.
Anti Samurai music.
Mhm.
So it's like I got really excited there.
I got pretty excited too, and then it was a little bit of kind of like it was like Wreck-It Ralph diet, because I mean by that I mean, don't get me wrong, I walked out of this movie still enjoying it. But there's a part way through this movie, I'm like it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. I'm like, oh, it's not bad. It's
Wreck-It
still
Ralph.
it's still good. No, I'm talking to Man with the Iron
Oh,
Fist.
okay.
Man with the Iron Fist. Like, oh, it's good. It's not amazing, but it's good. I'm not like totally disappointed, but I wish it was as cool as I thought it would be. Where Wreck-It Ralph was one of those things. Like I'm not gonna lie.
It was like somebody fucking kicked you off a cliff. It's like somebody took you to the top of a cliff, and you're like, man, this is great. Look at this view up here. And then the next thing they do, they kick you off, and you fall all the way back down the bottom, and you're laying in a pile of like dinosaur shit.
like fucking Cyclops, like what Wolverine does to Cyclops in that one Ultimate X-Men issue.
Yeah. And then you're lying in a pile of shit like from Jurassic Park.
Yeah. Oh, he was in the Savage Land, wasn't he?
Yeah, pretty much.
All right.
I guess you'd be a dead pile of dinosaur shit or mutant shit, something like that.
He had to eat bugs to survive or some shit, didn't he?
Yeah. Just he falls in like some mutant like outhouse.
No, but like, because the thing about Wreck-It Ralph was it was just like I wasn't looking forward to it the way I look forward to like an Edgar Wright film, a Kevin Smith film, or a Quentin Tarantino film. But I was legitimately really looking forward to it because I've never heard of that movie before. I never heard of a concept like that. Well, I guess to me, I was the closest thing I was thinking.
It was kind
Roger
of like
Rabbit.
Tron or Roger Rabbit.
I was thinking Roger Rabbit with video game characters. That's what I
yeah,
was thinking.
that movie really came across. Actually, that was really what
the
it was
first
like.
20 minutes.
And it almost kind of made me like Tron, but if Tron actually put in actual characters.
Uh huh.
That like yeah, Roger Rabbit mix of Tron and actual video game characters. That's really what it was, and that was cool for the first 20 minutes. But
and then it was just like, because it was like, who's gonna show up next? Who's gonna show up next? And like, after that first 25 minutes, nobody showed up. It was just like, are you fucking kidding me? But I don't mean to beat a fucking dead horse, but to death.
Then there was that Quentin Tarantino intro.
That was such an oxymoron what I just said, but yeah. Anyway, but no, beat a dead horse to death. Yeah, but yeah. No, there's the Quentin Tarantino. Let me reevaluate my flaw. Out. Yeah, but they.
It was kind of cool Quentin Tarantino intro that really it sort of made up for that horrible godforsaken Hugh Jackman like intro.
Les
That's like
or whatever.
yeah, Les Miserables.
Miserables, yeah.
I think I'm
I'm
getting
never
better. I'm
gonna get
it. The
it
more I
right.
see that fucking movie, I get better at it, which I'm pissed off at Hugh
That
Jackman.
almost seemed like the counter one, like fuck you, because what happens as soon as that, like the Les Miserables trailer was done, because I'm not sure if this is the first one you would listen to.
This trailer has played on about 5 movies we've seen in about the past like month.
And it's not your standard 2-minute trailer. It's like Hugh Jackman, like in an editing room, saying, "Hello, I'm Hugh Jackman." Pretty much, we made a deal with Regal that's going to show this trailer to no matter what the fuck you want to see.
For 5 fucking minutes.
Yeah, and it showed on Wreck-It Ralph. It showed on Judge Dredd. It showed on Man with the Iron Fist. Nobody going to see these movies.
Fucking Argo.
Showed on Argo. Argo makes a little bit more sense,
but not enough sense.
Not enough. But those first 3, it's like, okay, 2
and
extremely R-rated.
It's like and if you've been a real naughty boy, we're gonna play a second trailer of it in your regular trailer.
Yeah, and they do that a lot. And almost Quentin Tarantino seemed kind of like the "fuck you, Hugh Jackman," kind of like because he came around.
Well, it was kind of the same thing because Quentin Tarantino was in the editing room for Django Unchained, and it just looked like they just cut him off guard, like they just popped the camera in there because he was like. It looked like he's been like working in there for the past 3 days.
No, they just walked in on him doing like a line of coke, and he's like, "Oh fuck, the camera, okay, hey guys, edit that first part out."
Well, because it really kind of came across like there was one fucking take on this, and that was all they were getting.
Just, thank you for coming to see the Man with the Iron Fist, my boy the RZA's movie. Here's a trailer for my movie, Django Unchained, coming out December 25th, Christmas.
Which was cool because they had a new trailer for that.
Yeah, and it was
actually really fucking violent for a theatrical trailer.
Well, the thing is,
it felt like a Red Band trailer almost.
It was a Red Band trailer generally, but I think it's like, well, you're already going to see an R-rated movie. Probably plopped it in front of RZA's movie. It's just, obviously to support his film. Mm-hmm. So I think it's already an R-rated movie. Who cares? I think it was kind of like that because I was like, all right, it's gonna be a Western. It's gonna be like standard Western violence. In that trailer though, it's like almost Kill Bill violence because when they shoot somebody, blood just shoots out. It's like, oh, that is fucking awesome.
That trailer actually made me like. I mean, I'm already excited for it because I know it's Quentin Tarantino, but that trailer felt like it really gave me more of a sense of what the movie's about.
Yeah.
And the violence in it showing it was like, oh, this is fucking badass. I really want to see this even more now.
Yeah, because I already knew it was gonna be violent. I already knew it was gonna be, an R-rated movie. But just seeing the violence in this actual trailer was just so much more awesome. Just because because I thought it was just gonna be your standard kind of Western, like boom, maybe a little bit of blood flies up, but no, literally just fucking blood gushes out of them as they get shot.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. And then they
Seems
had a bunch of Halloween or not Halloween, but they had a bunch of like horror movie trailers. It feels they're a little bit
after
late.
Halloween.
Yeah, it's like what the fuck? There's about 3 or 4 horror trailers, and it's like, come on, guys. People like they had the same problem last Halloween. People need to get their act fucking together because nobody's releasing Halloween movies anymore on Halloween. Last year there was only 2 movies that came out in October that I think they were horror movies, and it was Paranormal Activity 3 and The Thing. And The Thing is more of a sci-fi movie than a horror movie, anyways. So I'm not even gonna count that too much. But I guess you get to count it because it's the only other movie.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, that's the only thing they had too was Paranormal Activity 4, and then you had Sinister, I think, and I think that was it. It's like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Get your act together, guys. Don't be. What the fuck is this January? We're having Halloween in January.
Like a new Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which
Which look like shit.
do we need another one? Shit.
Also, those ones like those movies, like now I see.
Well,
like, we live in this age too, where it's like you can't. It's not even called the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. We have to shorten up to just Texas Chainsaw, and that's fucking it.
Is that what all it said? Texas
Yeah, it was
Chainsaw?
just Texas Chainsaw. It's just like
3D.
we really just live in this time where like are people just 10 times more retarded than they used to be? Because everything is shortened up like that nowadays, and it's just really obnoxious when it's like that. It's like, can we not handle a word like massacre? Is that a little big for our vocabulary nowadays?
You can't text massacre.
Yeah,
Autocorrect fixes it to mascara.
yeah, exactly.
No, but
Yeah, that movie looked dumb.
well, you just answered my question, I guess. But you as because I'm not really big on slasher flicks. My thing with slasher flicks are there's some good ones out there. It's not really my particular favorite genre of horror, just because it's new and inventive ways to kill people, which that doesn't bother me. But it's almost not really enough for me. And fine, whatever if people like it. But you as a horror
Well,
film,
that movie just it's like it's one of those ones. I think the more I watch horror movies, the more pickier. Once again, the more pickier you get on them because you start seeing better and better movies.
it
So then
just
you
looks
kind of see
very
a movie like
cliche
this.
to me.
Now I know this one thing about horror movies. Horror movies always have the shittiest trailers. No
Mhm.
horror movie has a good trailer. They're always shitty, and I don't know. It's one of those ones you almost have to go see the movie to actually really find out if it's good or not.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, here's the thing: the original Texas Chainsaw Massacre, that's one of those like really amazing movies, and it's almost one of those movies when you think about it, just like Evil Dead, shouldn't be fucking made,
There you
remade.
go. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's that good of a movie. Go watch that one. That movie's 10 times better than anything that anybody will ever make again, Texas Chainsaw Massacre style. Now there's some other good Texas Chainsaw ones, like the one that came out in the '90s, The Next Generation. That was actually a pretty good one. It's kind of forgotten, but it was pretty good. But still, I mean, I don't know. This movie just looks so generic. It didn't look like it was trying anything new. It just kind of looked like, let's take a bunch of dumb teenagers and have them get killed by. I guess the only thing different in this one is it's like a lady doing it instead of like Leatherface.
Is this like possibly the third one of the remakes?
I don't know. It'd be awesome if it was the Miss Shaw character. Though. If you told me it was the Miss Shaw character, or
Well,
whatever,
reevaluate.
I don't know, whatever that lady's called. That doesn't really help any of our audience out there.
I'll sum it up real quickly. There's a teacher that we had in high school, and the lady, the redneck lady,
It was like, oh my.
looks just like this teacher we had named Miss Shaw.
And it's like, if that character was like the Texas Chainsaw thing, I would go and see it just because of that, because that would make me just laugh a little bit inside.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, though, I don't know.
I'm guessing it's like we got to reboot a reboot.
It really just looks like,
And then
it almost just looks like I don't know what the fuck it is. Does it even fit in the storyline? Does it go somewhere? What the fuck is going on? I guess you have this one. If you saw the movie, maybe here's the thing. Probably if you watched the movie, it might be a little bit better than that trailer, because that trailer just looked like crap. And I know because like most horror movies always look like crap.
I'll say the brunette looked ridiculously hot, but you probably see her in other movies. I'm just gonna pass that.
Yeah,
that's not even enough this day and age.
No, yeah, that really doesn't sell it for you. Now it's like you can't just sell off like hot women.
Yeah,
It's
like,
like
that's why we got Google Images,
yeah, it's like
so we can creepily
we-
ogle in peace.
we need good stories
by ourselves.
nowadays.
Yeah. No, but then we got there's the Collection,
Yeah.
which that's a sequel to the Collector, which I never saw.
Nor have I.
But yeah, there's gonna be called Collection. So there you go. Well, no one else to go off on that. It's like there's a part like there's like a, oh my god, come on guys, we're gonna go dance clubbing, yay! And also
And
I'm
they
like,
get,
fuck.
spiked and
Yeah.
pretty much it looks like the Gimp from fucking Pulp Fiction escaped and just now is pissed at the world for being stuck down there.
Apparently, I guess this the guy who's trying to help find the girl. It's the guy who survived all his traps from the first one. So
Oh.
so that's what this is kind of like. And what originally, I heard this from I don't remember where I heard this from, but originally because it's done by the guys who made Saw. The original Collector movie apparently was supposed to be a prequel for Saw and show how Jigsaw got his idea for all his elaborate little traps. But then like, oh no, there's too much Saw shit out there. Just make this his own thing. So they changed up the ideas for it.
No, that's interesting.
You like the first couple Saw, so I
I do
wasn't
like
sure how you feel.
Saws.
Yeah.
I did. I like the first two I saw. I haven't seen the rest of them, but I like the first two. I was actually impressed. I was more impressed with those because at first I thought those were gonna be really dumb. And I
Mhm.
watched them like, oh, they're actually more intelligent than I thought. And they got
Mhm.
Danny Glover in it. Danny Glover will sell anything for me.
Danny Glover's in those movies?
He's in the first one.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool. Yeah, when I saw it, I was like, well, I was watching. I think it was in the intro credits. Like Danny Glover's in it. What the fuck? Why didn't nobody tell me this? It's like those things that like people tell you they tell you all these things about a movie, but they miss the pinnacle part of a movie.
By the
Danny
way,
Glover.
Arnold Schwarzenegger's in it.
Yeah, it's just like one of those kind of things. But
There's another one. There's
there were some other
Mama. There's
trailers.
Mama.
Oh yeah, there was that Mama trailer again by the
Guillermo del
Del
Toro.
Toro. Yeah.
Yeah, I need you to come in on Wednesday because I don't want to see that movie. Yeah.
Looks a little retarded. Once again, trailers always make movies look bad for horror movies, but still, that title's kind of retarded. I can't imagine paying a ticket for that. I cannot
Can
go
I
to
get
the
one
thing.
for Mama?
Yeah, I would just sound like a like Mama's Boys lines over there.
Pussy. Thanks for having your
Let's
Regal.
go see a real movie like Daddy.
Thanks for having your Regal card out. Yeah.
So here's a summary of this. Don't see Wreck-It Ralph unless you want to be really happy and then get really fucking disappointed. So disappointed that you walk out of that theater angry and bitter and want to punch some teenagers to death and take what little money they probably have.
You're not that guy. Like, give me your fucking money.
But I would say, if you do actually like kung fu movies, go see Rizzo's movie, the Man with the Iron Fist. He wants in the Man with the Iron Mask.
Okay, you gotta
Go see
bite your
Leo's
tongue
movie.
first. What about Riz's movie? Oh, you go see Leo's. That one's already yeah.
But go see that one because it is cool. I do say it's worth watching. It's cool to see on the big screen. It just it's just not as amazing as. Don't have the highest hopes for it. Just think of it as just a good movie.
Yeah, that's how
Not
I
an
think of it. I
amazing
mean,
movie.
if you've seen a lot of kung fu movies, it probably won't be anything amazing to you. If you don't watch a lot of kung fu movies,
But you like it a little bit, you probably will really like this one.
yeah, that's true. If I saw this like in probably mid high school, my mind probably would have been blown.
Yeah, it's
but-
one of those movies. It kind of reminds me of those. If I saw it in high school, I would have thought it was awesome as hell. But I think it's just one of those ones. By this point, I've watched it's like 100+ kung fu movies later.
Mhm.
Then you start to get your critic beard and you start judging movies more harshly.
You pull out your movie monocle and your top hat. Like, let me see here. Yeah. But no, it is a good movie. Wreck-It Ralph. The first 25 minutes is good, but
First of all,
beyond that,
I would just here's the thing: don't pay for it in theaters. Rent it, watch it off TV because
it's worth
only
it
in
to
that
rent
first
it.
20
Yeah.
minutes. Well, renting movies is practically free nowadays if you do it right.
On Netflix or something.
Yeah, if you do it on Netflix or you get something like that,
Mhm.
it's not the same as the old $5 rent anymore.
Yeah. But yeah, just watch the first.
I mean, like if you do like video games, it's worth watching the first 20 minutes. Once they get the Candyland, fucking turn it off because there's just no more reason to watch after that. You've seen the best part of the movie.
And the one cool part when he gets to Candyland is when the bad guy does the Konami code on the NES controller. That's about it.
So yeah, it's nothing amazing. Whatever. Just watch the first 20 minutes, turn the movie off. That's it. Call it a day.
Or you can skip to the credits.
Yeah, and then skip the credits. The credits are kind of cool. But here we go. We got actually another email came in.
Oh, we did. That's awesome.
From a guy named David Fresh Alone. I think that's how you say his name. Frezzo Alone. It looks like Fresno, but with a loan at the end. He says, "Hi, I love your podcast," and then in parentheses, and Mel Gibson. I'm glad to see that we and Mel Gibson are in the same category. If somebody's making a list of things they like and it's us and Mel Gibson, that's pretty badass.
Well, I hope Mel Gibson for other reasons.
Well, because he's like an awesome actor.
For
and a
other actors,
fantastic
yeah.
filmmaker. I don't
I
care.
still want people to go, Fuel Gibson. Don't want that, but yeah.
I don't care.
I ain't judging this dude. Yeah.
Mel Gibson's amazing. He can do whatever the hell he wants. He says, please make a shout out to me. I listen to your podcast all the time. Please talk about the new Assassin's Creed game and how overrated it is. Bye. David Freezalones.
Well, my Xbox just got the Red Ring of Death again, so it's gonna be a little while before I get to play Assassin's Creed.
Well, to me, it's like, here's the thing. It's like, okay, Assassin's Creed 3, I will say that game is pretty overblown because everywhere I look, I see an ad for it.
Michael Fassbender is gonna be in the Assassin's Creed movie.
Well,
I'm just throwing that out there. It just popped in my head for a second, but yeah.
So it's one of those ones, like, I will say it's overblown, but that's one of those ones I've been pretty impressed with the Assassin's Creed for the last handful of games. Because really what they did is they took Grand Theft Auto and they took it to the next level where Grand Theft Auto should have went instead of Grand Theft Auto kind of going back in time. Which makes to a lot of people probably like, what the fuck are you talking about? But really, Assassin's Creed did it right.
Well, explain to them real quick so they get what you mean.
Well, if you played San Andreas, That game went really far, because in that game there was so much shit to do. You could buy all this crap, you could buy the entire city, you made money off all this stuff, and it just gave you so many options. And then by the time Grand Theft Auto 4 came, it kind of went back in time where it's like, well, now you can't buy places anymore. There's not very many guns to choose from. You can't fly jets now or anything cool like that. It went pretty simple. I mean, it added some other stuff to it, but it kind of simplified the game again. I mean, it's not like it's a bad game, but it's just kind of one of those ones you gave us all this stuff and you took some of it away. What the fuck?
Well, you can fly. You can like watch TV instead of fly plane.
Yeah, exactly. I can watch TV in a video game. But here's the thing
You
about
don't like
Assassin's
watching
Creed
TVs in
did.
video games?
Is Assassin's Creed, the cool thing about that game is because you could buy shit. And I don't know what it is about buying shit in video games, but it really gives you a good feeling when you can outbuy an entire fucking town and whatnot. And so it pretty much progressed it further. Other than that, though, those games are actually really kind of different. They're both sandbox games and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But here's the thing, Assassin's Creed 3, I don't know, it does look pretty fucking cool. Revolutionary War in America. I don't know, do we...
I hear a lot of people say the new main character isn't as cool as Ezio, or whatever the last guy's name was.
Oh, yeah, well, has the game already came out?
It came out, I think, today or yesterday.
Let's say, yeah, if it came out, it just came out.
Not today. No, it
Tuesday.
had to come out Tuesday. Yeah.
Yeah, it came out Tuesday. Well, here's the thing about that game.
That's how fucking thrown off I am with time right now.
Fuck.
Oh, it's Friday. Shit.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I haven't played that game yet. I would like to play that game. As long as it didn't really mess with the formula from like Assassin's Creed 2 and all its sequels, it should be a good game. The only thing I fear is because nowadays we really live in that age where video games kind of sell out and they try to be more mainstream. So that's always the fear I have with sequels. It's kind of like Mass Effect. Mass Effect 1 was like, when I first got that game or I borrowed it, like somebody let me borrow it, I was like, I don't know, man. Space shooters generally aren't my thing. They always kind of seem, I mean, they're fun, but... And then I played Mass Effect 1.
Fucking nerds!
And I was like, this is fucking awesome. I played through that game 3 times in a row, and I was like, this is fucking badass. So I went out and got the second one, and I was like, oh, it's going to be so cool. And I played it, I was like, well, it's fun. But they really simplified the fuck out of the game.
They made like Gears of War, didn't they?
Well, they made it kind of like Gears of War. And here's the thing, I love Gears of War, but I love Mass Effect for what it was, you know? I liked how my guns in Mass Effect, you didn't have to reload them. I don't know where Mass Effect 2 I have to reload them for some fucking reason. That's retarded. It was really cool that like after I upgraded my gun enough, I could really just hold the trigger down, just like rape enemies like no other. That was cool. And I personally liked like I could really like change my character like no other by upgrading all kinds of different shit. In Mass Effect 2, like the upgrade, like when you leveled up, it didn't really seem like it made too much of a difference because I couldn't really upgrade that much stuff.
What was the dude's name again? David.
David. I know it's David, and then it's Frezelone.
David Frezelone. We can't promise you that we'll be able to play Assassin's Creed 3 anytime soon. Like I said, my Xbox just got the Red Ring of Death. I'm broke as fuck right now. And
I don't think he was talking about us like reviewing it.
I said talk about how overblown it is. So I think it would involve us having to review it actually.
I think that's the overblown part, not the playing.
Okay, all right. Either way, yeah.
No,
there's your shout out.
I'd like to get that game, but yeah, there's a shout out. But that's just kind of how life is nowadays. You get to pick one game every couple months, and that's what you get. It's almost
You'd
like,
be damn grateful for it.
It's funny. It's almost as a child.
It's almost more used games now.
Well, no, as a child, you got to pick like one game every couple months, and that's what you got, and you were like grateful for that game. Then when you get to a teenager, now you finally have money and nowhere else to spend it but on video games and movies. So now you're getting everything you possibly want. Then when you get even older, now you're back to that point again where it's like I only have enough money to get a game every once in a while. So you're back to that child part again.
Fucking gas and rent and all that.
Yeah, gas, rent, bills, phones, cars, insurance, all that crap you don't want, but for some reason it keeps coming around.
Buy all the shit you want when you're young, kids. That's the thing.
Well, I always think as a kid, like a lot of people always say, like, oh, these children, they need to save their money for later in life. No. Because here's the thing: you're only a kid fucking once. Blow that money on everything you want. Enjoy the fuck out of your childhood life, because you're not gonna get that for very much longer.
Yeah.
After that, it's just kind of like, okay, and what you get to look forward to is fucking Wreck-It Ralph and Man with the Iron Fist, and then you get let down, and that was your week. Because you don't got enough money to go out and buy Assassin's Creed 3.
Because you just spent like fucking $30 to go see these movies.
Yeah, and then next week Halo 4 is coming out, but you're not going to be able to play it anytime soon. It's just going to be a faint memory in somebody else's house. And that's where we end the podcast tonight.
Actually, can I whore out for a quick second?
Okay.
I'm working on Grit 2 right now. I got the first couple of pages up. They're up on the Old Man Orange Facebook page, and they're up on my personal Facebook page and on www.facebook.com/Grit Comic Book Series. So
Well, you can find all that at oldmanorange.com, the
the
source
easy
to
way.
everything.
Yeah.
Go on there and download our podcast on iTunes. I see that more people are downloading them all the time. But you know, it'd be really nice if we can get some more reviews and get some more 5-star ratings on iTunes. That would be real cool. And other than that, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes,
I'm Ryan Dunigan.
and go see a movie.
Not Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah. I don't know. Go see fucking Flight. I hear that's supposed to be really good.
Apparently, yeah.
Apparently that was the movie to see. We totally made the wrong, decision.
Maybe next week.
Come on, Denzel.
See you guys later.